Give me 1 second. How do they do it right next? Oh. Sorry, I can't take myself seriously with these things on. I almost said
welcome to Wars in the Stars.
I can open it, okay? Welcome to Wars in the Stars, the podcast that somewhat is okay with the episode of Bad Batch. We are here live on Twitch. I am Candy, aka Alex. This is Drew, aka Hand Me Demand. On Wars in the Stars. Oh. Before
we get started, I just want to say you spelled candy wrong. You didn't put a Y. You said canned.
Canned? Sorry, I changed my name on here, you know.
Yeah.
I wonder what it was earlier. We're going to talk about Bad Batch episode. What episode are we on? 5?
6.
6? Is it really the 6th episode? I don't believe this is. I think it's. I don't know. What is it? Recommissioned or whatever?
Decommissioned. Close enough.
Close enough. Drew,
as you can see, guys, we prepare a lot for this podcast.
Yeah, clearly. Drew, what'd you think?
I thought it was good. I thought it was probably the best episode since episode 3.
Since episode 1.
I disagree. I think episode 3 was good because of a character that hasn't shown up in a while, otherwise known as Crosshair. Yeah, I thought it was cool to go to Corellia. It looked very similar to Solo, as it should. It is the same planet.
Yeah.
I really thought
Oh.
we were gonna get a young Han Solo, and I was really hoping for that.
No, we got your 2 favorite characters in this episode.
And we will touch on those characters later, but I also heard an interesting theory. It could have been Han's parents. I would have liked to seen that.
Han's parents?
Yes.
Who they were talking to at the end?
No.
Oh, okay.
It could have been the Merce, but I understand why it was the 2 characters we won't talk about yet. I just wish, like, Corellia, like Han, Lady Proxima. We don't know much about her.
All right.
Kira, I thought it would have been interesting. Just like a 10-year-old Han Solo being a smuggler. That would have been cool. But we obviously got the Bartez sisters. And before we get into any further, this episode had the best Star Wars joke of all time.
Yes,
it is the best.
Yes.
It is the best Star Wars joke of all time. I'm saying it right now. This is going on the podcast page. The best Star Wars joke of all time is the Echo joke.
Yes. Yeah. What did you say? Is there an Echo in here?
Yes.
Yeah. I'm Echo.
I am Echo. It was funny.
Dude, I don't think I've ever died laughing at Star Wars like that.
Usually animation jokes are like weird and kiddie. This one I was like, that's hilarious.
It was dad joke humor, which was funny.
It was great.
Oh yeah. I mean, what was it there? I mean, it caught me off guard, I will say. Like, I didn't expect. I thought the only funny person on the show could have been Wrecker, which we have to talk about Wrecker here in a sec, and what's going on with him. But I loved the joke. I thought it was well placed. I thought I was right when she said it. I was like, "Are they gonna make an Echo joke?"
I didn't even think of it, and that's why it was so funny to me. I'm like, "Wow, that's clever. That's good." I guess now, since we alluded to him, we could talk about the Martez sisters. Wasn't a big fan of that arc in the Clone Wars. That's all I'll say. It kind of diminishes season 7 for me. It really does. Well, yeah, because season 7, I'm hyped. Bad Batch was cool. That arc was interesting. And then we got that. And I was just like, show me the Siege of Mandalore. Like, I really didn't care. But I will say in this episode, they were a lot better. Like, they were actually interesting. Yeah. And I don't think I think they're helping a specific someone. But the way Rafa talks to that person makes me think that they're working for someone else, even though they have R7. I don't know. I just very suspicious in this episode, I will say.
Yes, Trace and Rafa showing up, dude. I will say when I think it was Rafa. Dude, I actually stayed up for till 3 a.m. for this episode.
Okay, I did too.
I'm laying on my bed, and I'm just like, I forgot her name. I thought it was so I knew it was Rafa something.
Yeah,
I didn't know if it was Rafa until Trace said it earlier.
You thought it was Raphael, like the Ninja Turtle.
I was like, oh my god, it's Raphael. Dude, it was 3 in the morning. I was buzzed on an energy drink.
I just call them the Martez sisters. I'm like, I don't even know the difference.
I know Rafa's older and Trace is younger, and I know I hated Trace from the arc. That's all I know.
I will say they've been slandered a lot on TikTok. Like a lot.
And guess what? It was every single part of it was funny.
Every single part. I think it's a little ridiculous, but
I think it's funny. But yeah, seeing them pop up, I didn't expect them to pop up. I thought they were just going to be shoved to comics and books only. So nice to see them pop back up in animation. But yeah, I mean, it was cool seeing them again. Again, the arc from Clone Wars wasn't anything special. Definitely a bottom 5 arc in my opinion for the Clone Wars.
Oh, easily.
But yeah, I enjoyed their inclusion in this episode, and it really made me like them.
Yeah, they were very likable. It was really, I just think all around this episode was interesting. Obviously, we had, as we talked about a few minutes ago, Corellia, the home of Han Solo, the home of, I don't know in canon, but I know Dengar was in Legends was on Corellia. Also, the home of Kira, Lady Proxima. A very interesting planet. And we also see the decimation of battle droids, which is something we haven't yet touched in Star Wars canon. And I wanted to see what that looked like, and we got to see it. And obviously, we introduce Ahsoka's friends, the Martez sisters. And yeah, again, I'll give my thoughts. They were a lot better in this episode than in the Clone Wars arc. Again, probably because they didn't overshadow this episode as much. This episode again focused a lot on a couple. I think 3 specific characters were the highlights for me: Wrecker, Omega, and Echo. I will say I've been disappointed with the Echo love. This was Echo's best episode by far. That beginning scene and then the joke scene and just everything with Echo was great. I felt like I was watching Echo when he actually had a body. Yeah, it was good. Probably the 3rd best episode, and it advanced the plot. I guess now, Alex, give me your thoughts on Echo. I want to hear your thoughts on Echo.
I've enjoyed him in the show so far. I mean, he was he has felt sidelined for the last few episodes. I will say the last 2 episodes of The Bad Batch, he has had more inclusion, and I've enjoyed him a lot more. But you know, to be fair, he is, you know, being a part of this team for him was a route that at the beginning of the arc of the Bad Batch arc, you could see it was coming, and there was already the pre-renderings of it.
The Kashyyyk, yeah.
Yeah, so we already knew it was coming of him, but he, in many of the episodes, doesn't feel like a team member. He feels very just kind of like there. And same with his or I wouldn't even say counterpart, but basically his twin, Tick. So, you know, I'm hoping that we're gonna get into more Echo and Tech, like not making them basically the same character. Again,
well, they do work. I will say they do. I don't mean to cut you off, but they do work together a lot. Like you see it, he uses the port thingy. That again, my biggest problem with Star Wars is why does every single spaceport like have to have R2 compatible thing? And don't you think at some point these companies would, or enterprises or empires would get smart enough not to use R2 compatible technology.
I mean, I know why they use it. It's because they use R2 droids. So
they use Astromechs, yeah.
So it just makes it easier for them, and it's cost effective. But it's like, come on, you can just tell that's some faulty technology going on,
right?
Because anyone can get into it. Like, you don't need any restriction codes, and if you do, you legit just need to get restriction code or get past it, and then you have everything.
Yeah, they're not as secure as an iPhone.
Like, R2 downloaded the entire schematics of the Death Star. Or no. Jin and all of them got it. But then R2 was able to plug into the Death Star and just take everything. Like,
yeah, but no codes, no nothing, just took it.
Like, literally in the current Star Wars run of comics, R2 got like Jedi outposts from the Death Star's records and gave them to Luke. Why is that? First of all, why are things like that in the Death Star? Like, okay, yeah, Palpatine might need them, but anyone can clearly get into it.
And why is it in like a secluded room with like it's just it's so odd. But anyways, yeah, I guess we've talked about the Martez sisters a little bit, talked a little bit about Echo.
But so now I guess we talk about Wrecker.
No, not yet. Yes. We need to talk about the female clone known as Omega. I thought Omega was solid in this episode. I like the bow and arrow stuff. I liked how the beginning with Sid. Sid is a very interesting character to me. Mm-hmm. I love how Sid's just like, bang. Yeah. Look like Hawkeye.
No, it looked like Green Arrow.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah. That makes more sense. She's green.
Exactly. Thank you. You caught on.
She's great. There you go. Yeah, there you go. I'm a little bit slow, but I've been up since 3. Yeah, I thought the bow was interesting. I really love Echo training her. It kind of reminded me a little bit of Rex and Cody training Echo on the Rishi Outpost, season 1, episode 5. Kind of like, being that big brother type of thing. That's what Echo is. I see Omega as the little sister. She is a part of the team, but she's like the younger little sibling that you have to reluctantly take on, but still very capable. And I thought it was really funny how she's like holding I don't know how it was heavy. I'm still trying to figure that out.
Well, I don't think it was heavy because later on at the end of the episode, she does it no problem. It's the fact that it's like, well, with anyone who gets a bow and arrow for a first time, they're gonna have a shaky hand because they're not only trying to hold it out, but they're trying to like pull it back. And especially because she has an energy based bow. So it's essentially like you're directing a blaster bolt, like directly. So
I still think one of her powers is a sniper, and I still hold true to that. It just takes her a little bit longer. It's almost like she's a mutant, like from like the X-Men. Like it takes a little bit as they get older, they come more in tune with their mutation. And I think.
I just think that she has all the Bad Batch's abilities, and one of
the that's that's what I'm saying. She's but I also think because we've seen her learn how to track.
Yep.
She became an expert tracker. She could shoot. We haven't seen quite the Tech and Echo stuff yet.
Yeah, she isn't very smart.
I think she's smarter than. Well, actually, we did. She knew who Sid was.
Oh, really?
I found Sid.
I found Sid. We're right next to her.
And we haven't seen her strength yet. I think that'll come as she ages.
Which when we talk about Wrecker, I do want to talk about something that really alarms me about like when we talk about him. But yeah, I mean,
I think I'm gonna say this. I think the Bad Batch stands no chance if he goes haywire. Like he's not gonna kill him, but
I don't either. But I think what they're probably hopefully gonna pick up what Tech was doing with the inhibitor chip device, the inhibitor chipinator.
But I really don't. I really hope that like we get an episode where he's crazy, but I don't want it to just be like, oh, I have it done. It just cuts his head open, and then
yeah, I think what they're gonna do is they're going to go to Rex. I think next episode is going to be when we meet Rex, because the ending sets it up, and his inhibitor chip sets it up. So I think what's gonna happen is they're gonna go meet with Rex. The chip is gonna activate, and then it's going to be a thing of where they need to like essentially corner him, and Rex needs to be able to get into his head to help get it out. Which, like, if you think about it, like, you must think about how brutal that must be, because when Ahsoka did it to Rex, they had medical equipment there. Like, I don't think they have Republic standard issue or Empire.
Oh, definitely not. Definitely not.
So, like, what if Rex has to like get a knife and like cut a hole into his head and like forcibly pull it out?
So the other thing is like there has to be a Jedi around for them to know.
I don't think so.
You don't.
I don't. I don't think a Jedi needs to show up into the show. Or I'm sorry, Ahsoka doesn't need to show up into the show.
I'm gonna tell you right now. If it's not this season, season 2.
I just don't.
It's gonna happen. It has to. She's the golden child. She is the golden child of Star Wars animation. She is literally the embodiment of Star Wars animation. We'll have a High Republic show, and there'll somehow be an Ahsoka tie-in. It's like
Saw Gerrera is. Saw
Gerrera is the embodiment of Star Wars. He's just in everything possible.
He's gonna be in stories past Rogue One. He's gonna somehow show up.
I wouldn't be surprised. Be like, yeah, Saw lived, man. You saw what happened to Jedha. He lived.
Yeah, but since we were talking about Wrecker, I think it's time that we move on to him. Oh man, I didn't think he
gotta stop banging his head, man. Gotta stop banging his head. He's got to be more. Dude, he's got to be more aware.
That helmet sucks, dude.
He's got to be more aware.
Well, yeah, I mean...
think about this. And let's just theorize. This probably is like within a time span of a couple of months to a year, right?
Mm-hmm.
In a matter of a couple of months, this dude has banged his head at least 4 or 5 times.
Yeah,
I don't know. How many times did he do it during the Clone Wars is my question. This dude must have severe, like, brain issues.
I know. Like, again, his helmet must suck. Do you see how he puts it on? How he, like kind of just puts it on top of his head and he, like, nods his head down? Like, think, like, the top of that helmet just must go like this to him. Just, like, slam on his head. So he's probably used to banging his head, but what he's been banging on is always, like, metal. So, again, it's like, your helmet must suck if that's what activates your chip. Like, Crosshair, it made sense. Like, he doesn't have any, like, he's not insane like someone like Wrecker or Hunter or Tech. And it made sense why Echoes didn't go off. Probably all the stuff the Separatists did to him. Or, I'm sorry, the Techno Union did to him.
Right.
That probably short-wired the chip. Hunter, it makes sense because he's basically enhanced, like, everything. Like, enhanced senses and whatnot. Tech is Tech.
Tick?
Not like he could do anything. Not like he could probably hurt like a fly. Like, you notice how little he actually hits a target? Like, I
haven't been paying attention.
We don't see him, like, actually shoot something. But Wrecker's chip activating, like, we saw it activate in this episode. He started saying the good soldiers follow orders.
Good soldiers follow orders.
Well, that's the thing, is he wasn't even saying the entire thing. He would say good soldiers, and then he'd, like, pass out. So
and then he gets shot again. This guy's been shot more than anybody on the planet, and they always miss. Like, he's a big target, man. You gotta hit. You gotta hit him where it counts. And I like how the droids were like, "Yeah, let's just leave. Let's go."
Yeah. Not like something that I also like is this gives us confirmation that the droids actually had minds of their own, because you notice, like, when they're when the Bad Batch is leaving, they're like, "Aren't we supposed to shoot them?"
Really? Like, they do say that?
Well, they don't say that, but you notice one of the droids, like, looks to the other... I just knocked my mouse off my desk. But you notice the other droid look at them like, we fighting them too?
I loved Battle Droid humor as a kid.
Yeah.
And I thought it was absolutely hilarious. Like the one gets up, he's like, "Did we win?" And
Did we win?
I just start dying laughing. And I love how they went back to the tactical droids because those are one of the coolest droids in Star Wars.
Yeah.
I love the tactical droid in the Ryloth arc with the Ryloth. What do you call them? The Rylothians? Oh, the Twi'leks. Jesus, man. The Rylothians. No,
Good
the Twi'leks. I totally forgot. The Twi'leks. And the Twi'leks like get freed, and he repeatedly says in his battle tank, does not compute, and they just rip him apart.
You know, I was actually thinking like midway through this episode with the tactical droid, I was like, oh my god, that looks like the droid that or the head that Ahsoka gives to Ezra, Kanan, and all of them to go find Rex. So I thought, oh, we're gonna see we're gonna see the Bad Batch give the head to Rex, and then maybe have it implied that like Rex is like, oh, I'm gonna go bring this to a friend real fast, so she knows where to find me.
Yeah.
I thought, oh my god, that's gonna be like a really cool tie-in. Like, if you know, you know. No, the head got destroyed.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out, is it a tactical droid we've seen? I think it might have been, but I'm not gonna go through the Clone Wars and think about it. But
I don't think we've seen it before. I think it was just a random.
Yeah, there's probably a lots of them, so it would make sense, and we haven't seen it. But to go back to Wrecker, my take on it is, we've seen it. Now it's starting to go off, like really go off. I think the next episode will be him going crazy.
I think it has to be, because if you delay that even one episode, you're gonna go, what was the point of that whole like subplot about it?
I think it goes off next episode, but we don't see Rex next episode. It's almost like what we do in The Mandalorian, where we're like, episode 3 of season 2, we're like, Ahsoka Tano, find her here, but Mando's got to do something. I think Wrecker. I don't think the Bad Batch do a mission. I think Wrecker goes insane, and that's like, oh, we have to find Rex, and then we cut to Rex looking for the Bad Batch, just looking to find their whereabouts, and they both try to meet up with each other and like get Wrecker.
Well, if it's to me who's in control, I think, we open them like midway, like through a job or something, like to help get more insight on who Fennec is.
Okay.
And what what happens is that we meet them like near the tail end of it when they like get more from like Sid or whatever. Okay. And Wrecker goes crazy. And I think the rest of the episode is going to be them essentially trying to like not kill Wrecker, obviously, like trying to like maybe hit him with a stun, but even the stun's like not hitting him. So they need to like basically like disable him, like knock him out or whatever. Maybe just throw like a metal pipe, like just sit it down and have him hit his head on it. And I think what would be interesting is to end the episode with Wrecker like all maybe like tied up or whatever in the ship, and they're going to Rex. And then the next episode is when they arrive, and then Wrecker like wakes up and like breaks loose, and then Wrecker's on the run for like the entirety of the next episode, and then it ends with Rex meeting up with them.
Okay. I could
like we know Rex is in the show, but do we think he's going to be in a lot of it?
The more I think about it, I'm like, maybe they keep hinting at it.
I think
because we're almost at the mid-season point. We're 6 episodes in, so in 2 weeks it will be the mid-season point. I think it's more of a middle to end type of thing, but we'll see. We still need to catch up with Crosshair. We still have a lot of stuff to do besides that. The show is set up a lot of stuff that's going on, and there's 10 episodes left, so they got a lot of stuff to at least mention. They don't have to close it because the show is obviously getting a second season.
You know what I feel bad about is Crosshair.
We need Fennec. Yeah.
You know why I feel bad? Because he's if he stays at his current pace, dude, he's easily a top 15 worst villain in Star Wars.
He's a wasted villain.
Exactly. He's like Phasma for this show. Like, she looks cool. We see her do cool things, but
he was up into this episode. He was like the only part of the show that was really compelling to me.
Yeah, and that's the thing is like, this is ruining Crosshair, because let's say he doesn't show up in the next episode.
And Dave, I trust.
No, and Dave, I'm not trusting anymore because.
Well, Dave hooked you back. Dave got you hook, line, and sinker. He hooked us all back in.
But that's the thing is with this episode, I'm more interested in the Bad Batch now, which they fixed. The big problem is the Bad Batch wasn't interesting. Which, hey, hats off to him. But
you get it because he wears the cowboy hat.
Yeah, but guess what? When Crosshair shows back up, it's gonna be like, oh yeah, it's the guy who's supposed to be the villain of this show.
Okay, I understand that.
It's like they're doing a really bad job at building him up. They're doing like the Hux treatment to him. Now that I think about it, like he's badass in one section, like in episode 3 when he kills the one guy. You're like,
okay.
Oh my god. And then in the rest of the Bad Batch, he's been like, yeah, I don't like it.
Okay, that's fair.
That's just my opinion. I know you're a big fan of Crosshair, but
I'm not
well, not like that. I'm not saying like, oh.
I think he's a good character.
Yeah, I do like Crosshair's voice though. Yeah. Crosshair's voice, like, not to get all PG-13 on us, but it's a sex voice. I'm sorry. Sorry.
You gotta get us banned.
Yeah, bro. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Because, dude, if you're trying to tell me that man does not give off just thirst trap,
Mando does.
Oh yeah, especially his grunts. Obi-Wan and Mando's grunts are my favorite thing.
Okay, we gotta stop.
Oh! Like, dude, if the Lego Star Wars game doesn't have Obi-Wan's grunt as the grunt when he kicks Grievous in Revenge of the Sith, I don't want it.
So, the final Bad Batch topic we have is who was the mystery character that Trace and Rafa talked to at the end? Obviously, they have R7. As we know, R7 appears at the end of the Clone Wars,
with
Season
Rex.
7, Episode 2. Yes, and obviously was prepared.
Clearly.
There's a couple options here. I have made a list just now in my head of who it could be.
Let's hear him.
Obviously, at number 1, we have the Captain, Rex. His attire looks something similar to something Cut would give him on Saleucami. We just see like a slight look of a robe, and it looks like something Cut would wear on Saleucami.
Mm.
I could be wrong, but that's just my thinking was. Bail Organa, I heard that name thrown around, just because of him being really the only one in the galaxy to start a rebellion at this point.
But I think it's too soon for Bail.
Third option, that's way. There has been rumblings that they want to do more with this character. And I know you're gonna hate that I'm even gonna say this person's name.
Don't you say it's Ahsoka.
And I really dislike them if they do bring in this character back, Mace Windu.
Oh. Don't do Mace. Why? First of all, why would Mace care about rogue clones? Why would he care?
I don't know, but
66 wasn't initiated on him.
True. Yeah, but that was a wild card. That was a wild card I heard some people throw out just because they want to do more stuff with Mace. That's the rumbling. But Mace, no. That's a no-go.
I don't like Mace.
That kind of undermines the whole Palpatine thing in Revenge of the Sith. It's like it's literally Anakin's turning point, killing Mace.
You know what? Not to go on a little bit of a rant here. You know what my favorite thing is when people try to say that the sequels ruined Anakin's story, but then want Mace Windu to come back. You know, his first act as a villain.
Yeah, his act. Yes,
Mace Windu.
He literally killed somebody who like was a mentor to him or was like a overseer of him, master.
Like, but no. But the sequels ruined it. You know, not diminishing his first act as Darth Vader. That is won't ruin it. But Palpatine returning through understandable means that ruins it. That's what I just never understand. Star Wars fans, no logic. No. I'm sorry. Most Star Wars fans have logic. Those fans don't.
Yeah, I mean, I just.
But Mace coming back, it doesn't make sense story-wise to me. I don't see how they could make it make sense. Because why would he care about rogue clones? Again, Order 66 wasn't.
And plus, Mace's personality, like, you know what? It'd be cool if I saw Mace Windu fight Darth Vader in a movie. That'd be like, I'd be like, oh, that's dope. That's really cool. I don't like it still. Like him coming, like I have never liked. Hello, Greedo says it perfectly. Shout out to him. He says he's like, I don't like the premise of bringing characters back. He says for him it's lazy. I agree. I think it's lazy.
Yeah.
But it all depends on execution. I still don't like the premise of bringing them back. But if it's executed good, I like it. Darth Maul. That's the example of a perfect execution. I still don't like how he came back. I still think it's weird that he has spider legs and is walking around. Isn't it cool when I see him come out of the fire and fight Obi-Wan? Yes. Let's do Boba Fett. So far, I like it. Mm-hmm. It's good. Palpatine, not so good. That's the not good of it.
I wouldn't say Palpatine coming back was not so good. I think it served its purpose for the story. The only thing that I don't like about Palpatine's explanation is that it just wasn't explained at all in the movie.
Right. Plus, I just my thing with it is like it's just like it's weird. I don't know. Yeah, I really don't know how to explain it, but it's just to me it just feels out of place.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's out of place. It came out of nowhere. It was just
Don't get me wrong. Ian McDiarmid is great. Ian McDiarmid is always good. It's just like I'm like, get off of my screen.
Yeah.
Like,
so he's the Ahsoka for you. He's the Ahsoka for you.
No, I like when Ahsoka appears.
No, like Ahsoka's that for me. Like,
yeah.
I like it when she's there, but please get off the screen. She makes me want to throw tomatoes at her.
Just like Palpatine wasn't executed properly. I didn't like the whole Hayden from a contraption. I still don't understand what he was. People have explained it to me thousands of times. I won't be able to understand it. And I don't want to understand it, frankly, because I just don't want to watch that movie. I'm not going to watch it.
You know, I will
watch it.
Since we're talking about movies, I'm about to do a big rewatch of all the movies. I haven't watched any of the movies in like 5 months.
Yeah. Okay, so I guess overall thoughts. So I will say, though, I do think it's Rex. I don't think it's Ahsoka because they say a man.
Yeah, they specifically gender it as guy. So
Rex.
I feel like it has to be Rex, or maybe an out-of-pocket thing is Gregor or Wolf.
Ooh, I just thought of something. I think it's dumb. Obi-Wan?
No.
It wouldn't make sense. This is outlandish thinking. Yeah. But like
my only major out-of-pocket thought would be Gregor or Wolf. But I think it's 99.99% it's Rex.
Okay.
It makes sense for the story.
Do you think Rex sets up Ahsoka showing up later?
I don't think we see Ahsoka showing up in the show. Even though she's the golden
girl.
You're
hoping that.
I'm hoping that, and I'm thinking it. Here's the thing.
I think she's going to show up.
I
also think Bo-Katan will show up. Maybe not in this season, but next season. I think we get something with Mandalore. I think we get something with Mandalore.
No, but for what reason? We already know what happens.
Mandalore.
We already know what happens, though.
Yeah, but we haven't seen it. I mean, we have.
Yeah, we literally have seen it. Rebels was all about it. Like, the season 3 episode, the season 3 episodes. I don't remember their names or the episode numbers, but all the things when Sabine fights Gar Saxon, like that explained what happened as soon as the Clone War ended.
Dave Filoni might retcon that. Well, he won't. He won't do that.
Okay. Like, he hasn't.
But it also wouldn't make sense. It also wouldn't make sense for Ahsoka to show up now because we know that this show is probably taking place during the events of the Ahsoka novel.
Yeah, and that's the other thing is,
which is a great book, by the way.
It is. What sense would it make for Ahsoka to be here? She, at this point of the current point of the show, doesn't have any weapons. We already know her story for this part. Now, yes, we know this show doesn't really care about the books or the comics, but
which is fine in my opinion.
It's fine, but it's just sort of like, why do we need her? Why Ahsoka? Why not someone else?
Because she's Ahsoka Tano.
But like, we already have so much of her story told. Why don't we go add someone else's story?
Good point. All right. Give your overall thoughts. We're going to end this topic.
Overall episode, I'd give it a 8 out of 10.
It's going to go a little lower than you, but I'm going to keep it at... actually, I'm going to go 7.5 out of 10. Very solid episode. Third best episode of the show so far. Really sets things up. It is really pulled... I was still excited for the show, more so than you, but it's definitely hooked me all the way in.
It definitely made me more invested. It's definitely like, maybe next time I do want to go 3 a.m.
Next week. Hey, by the way, special announcement. We can kind of get into it. Me and Alex will be doing 2 podcasts next week.
Yes, we will.
We will be doing a Loki podcast. We will be doing this for all the Marvel shows. And as we get closer, we will announce a date for our Black Widow review. We will do all reviews for all of the Marvel projects. Probably not What If, but maybe. Yeah. But all of the major live-action Marvel projects, whether that be TV show or movie. So expect us to talk about 7 projects from Marvel.
A lot.
In the next 6 months.
Yeah, a lot coming up. A lot with Bad Batch, Visions and whatnot.
The Star Wars show we know nothing about.
Yeah, Star Wars show we still know nothing about, but still scheduled to come out in a few months. So yeah, with the Loki stuff, we're probably going to either do Wednesday or Thursday episodes, probably Wednesday. So yeah, during the week of Black Widow is going to be interesting because that is a lot closer than anticipated. That is 35 days away. So we're probably it's going to be an interesting week because that's Loki, Bad Batch, and Black Widow. So
we'll give you updates, guys.
We'll give you updates. We'll probably have a schedule by next week. Yeah, having that podcast is going to be a lot. And I'm excited for Loki. I'm excited for all the content that's going to be around, the next few months. We still have Spider-Man No Way Home. We have Eternals, which I'm really excited about. Shang-Chi. Again, debating
Miss Marvel.
Or the Marvels. Oh, yeah, Miss Marvel comes out this year, too, doesn't she?
Hawkeye.
Yep. Book of Boba Fett.
Yes, end of the year. Oh, that's going to be crazy. I didn't even think about that. Book of Boba Fett and No Way Home in the same week.
Like, all that stuff is not going to be it, dude.
Okay, we're going off topic here. We need Star Wars. Okay, but anyways, I'm excited to talk
about Star Wars, bro.
I'm excited to talk about all of this with Alex. We're both very excited. Okay, so I guess now it's time for us to get into some miscellaneous stuff. Let's talk about a major character. By the way, spoilers for War of Bounty Hunters. Character returns from Solo, a Star Wars story. So basically, yes, as you can see from this headline, Kira, played by Emilia Clarke, she's great, does a great job, returns in War of the Bounty Hunters. As we can see, basically, guys, in this comic, Boba Fett is bringing back Han Solo. He loses Han Solo. Jabba is mad at Boba, so he sends bounty hunters, and he loses Han Solo to Kira. And as we can see from this panel, this masked figure who we find out is Kira says, Han always wanted to save me. Now he'll get his chance. Kira then says, finish the preparations. The guests should be arriving soon. We don't know who the guests are. And this person says, yes, Lady Kira. And it could be inferenced that Kira is now the leader of Crimson Dawn. Alex, my thoughts on this, we talked a little bit about this the other day. Not a big fan of her next appearance being in the comics. I don't like when we go from my first appearance being live action to comics or comics. I don't mind if it's comics to movies, but like live action to comics, I'm not a big fan of just because of the hierarchy of canon. You need to move up. You can't be going down. Unless it's like a tie-in comic that I won't care about. Here, it kind of ruins the fact that now I don't know, now I know that Kira lives into the time of the original trilogy, which kind of frustrates me. I wanted to see that story. Now I don't care. It's just like diminished to me because now I know she lives.
I don't think it's as bad as you're saying. I don't
think it's if you like this, that's fine. It's just the part in my mind. It's just like Solo sets up so much stuff. You could still tell it, but now she has to live because you just can't kill a character.
I mean, yeah. Here's the thing: is Lando is still coming out. There's still so much that could be told. We know that Kira is most likely in control of Crimson Dawn at this point. Maul is dead. Which even then, that comic, or one of the comics around the prelude for War of Bounty Hunters, is people are still questioning, like, Darth Maul's still in control of that stuff? Like, people don't even know Maul's dead by this point. Like, he's been dead for a few years at this point. So, Kira showing back up in comics does not bother me. I think...
Wait. I don't mean to cut you off. Oh. Sorry. So, if anybody is listening... my friend has a good question. Should I watch The Phantom Menace first, or should they watch A New Hope first? Alex,
first.
Okay.
Phantom Menace first for the reason of, for story, it'll make the most sense. The major twists that happen along are cultural phenomenons, and almost everybody on this planet knows about them.
This person does not know.
Well, even then, like... It's something that
this person does not know anything. Like, literally knows absolutely nothing.
And again, even at that point, it's not that hard. Like, you have a few movies to like forget about a lot of stuff that happens. So I just
told him to watch A New Hope. Sorry, I told him to watch A New Hope. That's how I've always enjoyed it.
Well, here's the thing: is it from a quality perspective. Sorry, you're getting the first bad 3 out. Sorry. Well, I love Revenge of the Sith, but...
Well, my take on it is like he's just going to become disinterested after The Phantom Menace.
And that's the thing is like...
Because what is interesting about that movie until like the last fight scene?
Well, that's the thing is like... with A New Hope, you have the first...
No offense to that movie, but...
No, and that's the thing is like to New Hope's point, the first act is quite slow and quite boring.
It's slow, but it has some really interesting world building and characters. It's just way more interesting than what the opening of A Phantom Menace is. Let's talk about the opening shot of A New Hope. What is the opening shot? It's the Tantive 4 being followed by a Star Destroyer. Mm. That's awesome. You just dive right into it. What's the opening shot of a Phantom Menace? Isn't it like new? It's a ship. Yeah. And then they a Trade Federation, and I have to see Newt Gunray say, "What is going on down there?"
Okay, like as I'm not trying to say Phantom Menace is a better movie than A New Hope.
Right, I know, but you're just saying you think it's because for story purposes. I think it's better. Listen, I don't mean to cut you. I think it's better
You cut me off
because
all the time.
I do cut you off. I do, but it's out of good taste. Uh, this guy's Tony Stark, sunglasses down. But I just think when you watch A New Hope to Return of the Jedi, the story is very emotionally impactful, right? It's obviously very sad. And then when you go back and you watch the prequels, you get that backstory. How did this happen? I think the moments with Vader are a lot less impactful. Like when Obi-Wan says, "What I told you was true," from a certain point of view. It's like, yeah, it's like you get the surprises and the twists and turns, and then the prequels is just that fun story you get on the way. And then the sequel trilogy, it's whatever you think of it.
Here's the thing, though, is when I'm introducing someone to Star Wars for the first time, I always tell them you need to watch the shows in between the movies. You need to do it. Even like for things like Clone Wars that are 7 seasons long, watch the essential episodes.
Okay.
Like watch the Siege of Mandalore. Like that's essential. Like you need to watch that. Watch watch the Bad Batch arc because that leads into the show. Watch the Mortis arc because that makes that's very, very important. Watch the Ahsoka Framed arc.
Yeah, you don't need to watch everything.
You don't need to watch the G Squad arc. You don't need to watch it.
That's essential. What are you talking about?
You don't need to watch the Rookies episode. You don't need to watch the Rishi Moon episode. Those aren't essential. Those don't have Anakin or Obi-Wan in them. So who cares?
Right.
Now, when it comes to things like Ahsoka-centered stuff, you should probably watch that because she makes a major play later on with things like Rebels and with The Mandalorian. So that's why I say start with the prequels because you get easily the worst 2 movies out of the game, and then it's nothing but quality going up.
I understand.
And then with Rise of Skywalker, you have a little bit of a dip.
I understand. I just say watch the original trilogy because it's going to hook you. And then if you really like it, you probably would be able to sit through. You probably would be able to sit through 1 and 2. I think there were good parts of that movies, obviously, but they obviously the weaker of the franchise.
That's the thing is when you start with 4, 5, and 6, you expect quality from newer film, and when you kind of see a dip from 1 to 3, you're like, is 7 and 8 and 9 going to be any better than this? And for depending on the viewer, they're not going to be better.
I love how your voice just cracked there. That was great.
And that because sorry. But like depending on the viewer,
no, you're good.
7, 8, and 9 might not be that good either. So now they're not going to. Or like, are the shows going to be any good? Don't want to watch the shows either. So that's why I say go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and interject the shows in between. Mostly because the first 2 they're most likely going to be duds. But like for instance, the MCU. Their first few movies weren't that good. Iron Man 2, Incredible Hulk, First Avenger, they weren't anything.
The First Avenger is a banger.
No.
It's a good movie.
Oh yeah? If it's so good, guess what? Why is it hardly ever referenced?
Because it's a movie set in the 40s.
But there's so much that could be talked about from that.
What? Right? What do you mean? There's actually a lot referenced. They actually brought a villain back. Red Skull.
Red Skull. That's the only major thing.
Yeah. What is reference from Iron Man 2?
What is first of all, we actually notice Tony's suit, in Avengers has the upgrade from Whiplash. Not to also mention Tony's reactor shape carries over from every single suit.
Okay, yeah, never mind. You're smarter than me about this stuff. Okay, I don't pay attention to.
But no, I'm saying like that. Like some of the first MCU movies weren't good. Like Iron Man 1 was good. Thor, was that really good?
Loki.
Oh, you had one good character in there. First Avenger had good moments. Like
I like that movie more than you, but that's okay.
Iron Man 2.
It's only good for like the last 30 minutes.
Right. Incredible Hulk.
I don't even know
Nothing,
I don't even remember what happens to
right.
that movie.
But we see the MCU is one of the most loved franchises of all time because of later things that happen. And that's something that even talking about the Bad Batch now is some of these episodes, they're not that good. Let's just be real here.
But let's be honest. It's gonna be somebody's first love. Just like mine was the Clone Wars. Yours was,
and
I don't know. I'm gonna be honest. Was it the
Rebels.
sequels? The Rebels, yeah. Rebels, right.
So
Sorry.
it's like
I should have known this.
No, you're fine. But that's the thing is like when it comes to MCU, DC, Star Wars, even in between Bad Batch, sequels, prequels, originals, some movies you're just not gonna like that much. Some shows, some episodes, you're just not gonna be fans of. But that's okay because there's something for everyone.
Yes. Now I just want to state this conversation divulged from the fact that Kira reemerged to the MCU. We went from Kira, a movie from Solo, a character from Solo, to the MCU. That's one of the best podcasts.
Exactly. We have a Marvel podcast that we're about to do too. So Star Wars is going to come up on that. So,
anyways, Kira, cool. Yeah, I just wish her next appearance was in live action. That's my only gripe, and I wish it was in a Solo spinoff because I don't want Lando to just become the Solo spinoff. I just want we could talk a little bit about Lando now because nothing. I haven't heard anything about that.
A lot of these Star Wars shows don't have a lot of anything,
which is fine. They were only announced like 6 months ago.
Yeah.
December, right? Yeah, December. But Lando specifically, I just needed to be a bunch of stories about Lando at different time periods, like how he got Cloud City, like what's he up to with Han, maybe, or like how did he get the Millennium Falcon?
Yeah.
I need him with his droid. What's the droid's name?
L3.
L3. I need to see what's up with that because I think Lando's cool. So I need to see
I need to see it. Lando.
Yes, I just need to see the story jump around. I don't need it to necessarily be like Crimson Dawn, but I would again. Actually, that's something we could talk about. So what if it Disney? I guess talk about what you think about Kira. I'm gonna try to pull this up.
Kira coming back honestly didn't bother me. I mean, she was a character who's like, okay, cool. She was fun in Solo. I like the end scene with Darth Maul, which. Speaking of the end scene, it just gave me a reminder. When I was in theaters watching, Maul appears, and I was next to these people who had only seen the movies, and I was listening into some of their conversation that they were having before, because as you do, and they were literally like, okay, like they were recording like a little video. I think they were on like FaceTime with someone, or they were recording video. They were like. I like the one from a few months ago. I really hope this one.
Talk about The Last Jedi, of course.
Yeah. So they were like, I like this one. So they're like, I hope I'm going to like this one. Maul shows up, and they're like, they were like, I'm sorry. This is probably going to sound a lot funny because I can't imitate how this person fully said it. They were like, did I miss a few chapters? Like, what happened? How is he alive? Man, Maul coming back, dude. I remember my theater, other than that person, was either 50% gasp of like, oh my god, it's Maul, or or the other 50% was like, wait, what?
No, my dad's like, that guy lived? I'm like, yeah. He has a lot of cool stories in between.
So then it always makes me think of the meme of like, okay, so explain how Maul survived, and it's explaining all the way from episode 2 all the way to his death in Rebels, and they're like, I just asked how Maul survived. He's like, we'll get there when we get there.
Wait, did Maul die before a second time before Solo came out, or was it after? Solo came out in 2018. No, he already died. Yes, he had already died a second time.
Yes,
that's funny.
That happened a year before. So that's literally, funny. He died, came back to life, died, then came back to life.
Well, he didn't come back to life in Canada. He came back
to major on screen.
Oh, I know what I said. I told my dad, I was like, Yeah, he died again.
Yeah, he died again. But here's the thing: is in Rebels, like it's implied, like it's obviously not shown that Obi-Wan like cut down his entire face.
Well, he was dead.
Well, yeah, like we already know also from a certain point of view that like he buried Maul. What if Maul just wakes up and he's like can't breathe, so he like uses the Force to push.
Yeah,
the
the thing with that is like we don't see like the lightsaber cut with Maul. Like, did he cut his chest? He must have cut his chest.
The thing is like you can see the smoke on him, like the implied like smoke of what would have happened, but you don't see any cut marks. Like with anything, like have you noticed like almost every time a lightsaber user has like uses a lightsaber in something like Rebels or Clone Wars, they never like stab someone or like cut arms off. They only cut the blasters. Like they only disable the blasters. But see, with Clone Wars, it got like darker. Like in season 7, when Ahsoka is jumping out on the gunships, like she's ruthless. Like if you think she would cut the Mandalorians' jetpacks so they just go flying away, like you have to think they're thousands of feet in the air
and
they're
just blow up, or blow up,
or plummet. Like here's the thing: is like they would most likely survive the explosion because of the armor, but then they're just falling thousands of feet.
Just like the snap. Just like the snap. I know I'm connecting this to Marvel, but think about if you were flying in an airplane and you got re-snapped back into existence. You're just falling from the air.
But no, even then, what if like you were in like a flat plains, like kind of like Hawkeye's family, and they built a building there, and you got unsnapped. You just like I would assume like if your ashes or the dust, if they got like swept away, you would move like right where you got like where they were.
Well, that's not true because Monica was in the same chair.
Yeah. Oh my god.
The other funny one would be like if it must have caused massive traffic problems.
Right. Like everyone just re-emerging in like re-emerging in the middle of the street and just the full-on traffic. Whoa! Like, could you imagine you're just in the middle of the street? It's broad daylight when the snap happens, and you just get basically revived just to die. That sounds so bad. That sounds so bad.
Imagine being on a vacation to Disney World. You're on a plane, get snapped, and then you're on the roller
coaster. You're on a roller coaster, dude. You're like this high up, like it was at the very.
They took the roller coaster down. They took the roller coaster down.
Like here's the thing: is like we saw in WandaVision.
Or you're just on top of the roller coaster, like just standing on top.
Like, dude, what if someone was sitting where you got dusted and you get get dusted? So a guy just merges into you? Like, what happens? Like, we need to see that in What If. We need to see that in What If. I know that's not what If's gonna be about.
What if you jump in a pool? You jump in a pool and then you get re-snapped. You're not gonna know you're jumping in a pool,
right? Which, like, dude, could you? There's
a lot of weird. Okay, we got it.
Nah, this is. We're gonna have to talk about this after the podcast. This is so bad.
Okay.
I'm getting so many thoughts of like what could have happened.
Okay, let's talk about the Book of Boba Fett. Let's do that.
Okay.
I have, let's do it. And then I have another update on it. Or actually I don't. I have an update about so the Book of Boba Fett Disney Plus merch features the one, the only Grogu. So production is almost done on this. And this is the production t-shirt right here. As we can see, it's called, I'll get that ad out of the way. It is called Buccaneer Legacy Effects Creature Crew. That's for the people doing the creatures and stuff. And as we can see, there's a Grogu on it.
Yeah.
And this is the artwork. If anyone wants to see, it looks very cool. As we can see, we see a Wookiee. Not as Chewbacca, but that would be cool. Grogu, I think it's nothing. I basically just think since it's a production short, I think these are the same people that work on Mando. So I think it's just a nice thing for them. I don't think he's going to be in the Book of Boba Fett.
Yeah, same here. I don't see why it would make sense. And he's with Luke at this point.
Right. So unless Boba wants to go after Luke for some reason.
Why would that make sense? Like, have you seen the meme? Like, the two cars driving past each other, or driving into each other. It's Luke with Grogu and Boba.
I'm glad that John and Dave thought of that because I didn't even think of that until after the episode. Like, what if Boba
just dying by you?
Yeah, maybe that's an ambulance. That's down the road. But anyways, yeah, it doesn't make sense. That's just something I wanted to talk about.
Well, no, I mean, maybe it's just like
just an Easter egg.
Yeah, or like code name for Mando also.
Yeah.
Does Mando even have a code name?
I don't. Did it film under something?
I don't know.
It filmed under a different alias in season 2. Okay, but this is what I wanted to talk about. Who is this? Mr. Chapek? Bob Chapek, who works over at the company known as Disney. Great company, by the way. Have great amusement parks. I
want to go to Avengers Campus.
I do too.
And Galaxy's Edge, of course.
Same. I haven't been to either one. So Chapek was talking about the Marvel projects, obviously, and then he talked about Star Wars. And he stated, we've got Han Solo, or I mean Boba Fett from Star Wars, and we've got monsters that work for Pixar.
Well, that's a weird mix-up of Boba Fett and Han Solo.
I think they got a something with Solo coming.
Solo 2 is what
I don't think it's going to be a movie. I think it's going to be a TV show.
Better be a movie.
Because, and this is a segue into our other topic. We have 3 movies as of now. We know we're going to happen. With Kevin Feige.
Yep.
The one you're excited, Taika. And Patty Jenkins' Rogue Squadron, which is the one I'm most worried about. But and it's the first one coming out, of course. Yeah, so I think there's something with Solo coming out. Whether it's a TV show they haven't announced yet, which is probably true. Alden Ehrenreich signed a contract for 3 movies. So I think it's going to be a TV show.
Yeah. I mean...
and a follow-up question, what would you like to see in that TV show?
I would not like a TV show. I would like a movie. Thank you. No, I'm joking. But in a TV show... I mean, since we know that him and Kira never reunite other than until this Bounty Hunter comic books, I don't know, because like how interesting could his life be before A New Hope? So, I mean,
I think it would basically be the Bad Batch, but in live action, just with Han Solo.
I wouldn't want that. I mean, here's the thing: is what are we going to get? Like an adopted child Han needs to take on with Chewie, and we need to assemble a big crew.
I would like. See, this is the other thing. Like Kira showing up now. What does Kira say? She says, "Han wanted to save me once. Now I get the chance to," or something like that. She says something along those lines.
But we already saw that. We already saw that in Solo. We saw that he was trying to go after her.
But do you think like a TV show would be like about like Han working for Jabba, or do you think it would be like about him trying to find Kira?
I don't know. What I would want to finish up Kira's arc is Kira surviving past Return of the Jedi, having Kira and Han have like a showdown. Basically like Kira trying to like recruit her to Crimson Dawn. And basically have that like Tobias Beckett moment, like before he dies. Kind of like that. You're making sure you're still paying attention.
Yeah, I'm gonna show you the one lesson you haven't learned.
Right, like Just have it be like, we could rule the galaxy together. Bang! Dead.
So this is my idea. A TV show that basically explains Han trying to find Kira leads all the way up until A New Hope, like literally moments. Like Han does a job on Tatooine, and then we go to the cantina. That's what happens. That's how the show ends. And then we get like another season, which would have been another movie, actually. And it would be Han post Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
After he learns that Kira had him when he was frozen in carbonite. And then we see that showdown, as you allude to.
I'm getting blown away by how much Disney is trying to fill in the in between original trilogy gap.
That's a lot.
Blown away by how much they're trying to do it. I just think we need to keep going backwards. Go to the Old Republic, dude. That is a domain of story that is just sitting there.
Or even the High Republic.
No, go back further. Because here's the thing, dude, is we know, like, we can have some sick ass Force abilities. And it's like, oh, why don't we ever see these again? Oh, because when the Jedi had, I think it's called like the 1,000-Year Darkness, oh, those abilities were lost and whatever.
Right.
Like, we can have literally any Force ability. Like, we saw Star Wars Legends, didn't care. Luke Skywalker was able to make black holes.
I just think my take on it is like, yeah, after this time period of Disney Plus projects are over with, I want them to, and this has been rumored, it's been rumored that they want to go into Bane and Revan content.
Good.
Which is good. I want them to dive
over Bane, but
yeah, right. I don't care. I think they're gonna dive deep. It's been talked about. They're gonna dive deep into Sith content, and I really think that the Acolyte is the first. That's why the Acolyte's my most anticipated project. I think the Acolyte is the hint of more dark side stuff to come. Maybe the hint of a Plagueis Palpatine thing happening. I don't know. We'll see. But this Solo talk kind of segues us into Kevin Feige's Star Wars movie. Feige has repeatedly said that he has no interest in becoming the head at Lucasfilm, and I'm fine with that. I'd rather have him stick with Marvel stuff. I would like him involved in some Star Wars stuff, but I think he's doing a great job with the MCU. But the writer who is also writing Loki, I believe, is going to do... Yeah, Loki writer Michael Waldron will be doing the screenplay for Kevin Feige's Star Wars movie. Not much is known about this project, obviously, but we know it is happening. Waldron said he's excited to work with President Kathleen Kennedy. Waldron was grabbed by Star Wars first. He worked on Rick and Morty. He has to be careful with the Star Wars fan base, as we all know. And Waldron, I guess, from what I heard, had a big writer deal. He's already tasked with writing Loki season 2, so they obviously think very highly of him at Disney, which is good. But as we can see, he's terrified about the complexity of Loki. But I think he's going to do a great job. And I'm excited to see what Feige wants to produce for Star Wars. And I think Waldron will be a great avenue for him to do that with. So what are your thoughts on Waldron and Feige making a Star Wars movie here down the line?
I question the point of it, but not putting it out of excitement. Here's the thing is, I've said it before, I think Kevin Feige should just take over Star Wars.
Okay.
Kathleen, look, she has been doing a good job, but it could be better. I don't want him to be a producer I want him to be doing what her job is. Give greenlighting ideas.
So you want Feige to be the head of both?
Both or just Star Wars? Like the thing is like when you have like he's worked with
that's a lot of work.
Like Taika, he's worked with people like John, so he already has those relationships built with them, and I'm excited for the Taika Waititi movie. Whatever it is, Taika, I think Taika style just fits Star Wars. I'm sorry, I don't know how to explain it, but it just does.
It'll be good.
But Kevin, why would you want to just be a producer?
Because that's what he's done for a while now.
Yeah, but why a producer? When you hear someone say,
but he does,
they want to work on Star Wars, not I want to produce Star Wars as a producer.
But
you hear I want to direct a Star Wars film, or I want to be the main character of a Star Wars film. Not I want to produce a Star Wars film.
Let me play devil's advocate. When we talk about producer, Kathleen and Kevin are very different. Kevin is more hands-on with the material itself. Kevin is, from what I understand, James Gunn has said it. Kevin's pretty free with what the writers do. He just wants certain aspects to fit his cinematic universe. And I think Kevin will be like the same way with Star Wars. He'll be like Michael Waldron, write what you want to write, but this is like what I mainly want. Just like figure it out.
But here's the thing: is if he's not doing it for a trilogy, or if he's not doing for an overarching story, then why one movie? That's what I'm confused about is why one movie and not a bunch of movies.
I actually think, for one, it could be the ending of this Mandoverse that he's writing.
Yeah.
Or it could be the start of a trilogy or a start of like a cinematic universe that he's setting up. One of those two things. Or it's just a one-off. I think Star Wars movies should just start being one-offs or set up a cinematic universe.
Well, you can't really do that inside of Star Wars because we already have that, basically. The thing is with Star Wars is, to its core, it's going to be about the Skywalkers. But when you go to times like
doesn't have
past the sequels, but Star Wars has made itself about the Skywalkers. It'll always lead.
It's marketed itself like that, but it's got to stop marketing itself like that.
And that's the thing, is that's why I think Old Republic is the perfect time period.
Cinematic universe.
Literally, because here's the thing. Anything that you do in that, for instance, if you want a character who can, with the Force, can, I don't know, they can do what
buildings.
Yeah. If you want someone with the Force who can, drain people's life force like Palpatine did. Or
so Nihilus.
Yeah. If you want Darth Nihilus, if you want someone who can literally feed off of planets, that is the time period to do it. For instance, I've always given, a cool headcanon thing that I would like to see happen one day is I would want to see the planet Terrace get destroyed and move everybody over to Coruscant and have Coruscant be formerly known as Coruscant and have the Coruscants be the beginning of Terrace. And that's why Coruscant's so overpopulated, because an entire planet had to move there, basically. Doesn't Coruscant have 10? I don't remember how many, what the population.
That's a lot of people.
But it would make sense because, I don't remember how many Coruscant is. I know it's in the high billions of people. But it would, that's
2
why
trillion.
You look at that, trillions. It would make sense to have that be, why it's like that. Why Coruscant is so important. Not only is it because it's the closest to the middle of the galaxy, but because a whole planet was moved there because it was destroyed. Bring plot points like the Star Forge. Because the thing is the Star Forge in KOTOR is a pretty boring subplot, if you ask me. It's nothing special. In the game, you're collecting, or Malik and Revan are collecting fragments of it. But guess what? You know what? As bad as this might sound, why don't you make the Star Forge sound like something like the Infinity Gauntlet?
Yeah.
Like the thing is we already know the Infinity Stones are like the basis of life in the MCU, and we know the Force is like that for most of it. So why not have these Starforge fragments be like major pieces of knowledge of the Force? Like have them be like huge holocrons with tons of information, outlines of planets, schematics, and all that. And why don't you just have like I don't know, like have a big thing about the Starforge, like
and like they do in the High Republic, explain why space travel during the High Republic is difficult, even to get to the Outer Rim. Explain in the Old Republic like how it's 10 times more difficult than it is even in the High Republic.
Right.
Just be like, you could do tons of things. You could be like, hyperspace is even a new technology. You could do something like that.
Right.
You could do a story like the Guardians. We could have like a Guardians version of in Star Wars where we do the bounty hunters of the Old Republic. We could do the Jedi of the Old Republic. We could touch on the Sith. And then at the end, we could do the Jedi and Sith Wars.
Yeah. I mean,
wouldn't that be cool? It's all setting up towards one thing.
It's like what we know is that it has to end on a bad note. Because around the time of the Old Republic, we have the 1,000-Year Darkness, where the galaxy was kind of in ruins for 1,000 years, or I think it was 1,000 years or 100 years.
So wait, the Sith were controlling, right? The Sith were controlling.
The Sith won the war against the Jedi.
Yeah, let's do that.
But like that's the thing is like
that would be a pretty dark ending, but it'd be cool.
Yeah, but then we would know it would transition into things like the High Republic. So. Right. We have a lot that could be done. Characters that we know are canon. Darth Revan is a canon character.
Darth Bane.
We've seen Darth Bane before.
Yes.
With these characters like Revan? He ends.
Isn't Plagueis his master too?
Who?
Plagueis' master is mentioned too, right? In that
Tenebris.
Yeah, isn't there a Tenebris? Yeah.
Tenebris is a part of it. So you have Jedi, you have Vitiate. He's a part of it and all that stuff too. So
you have a lot of stories you could tell with those characters.
We have a lot of characters. Like for instance, Revan would have to be the center of the story. He'd have to be the main character. We know that he's a Jedi for most of his story, but we know he is a Sith Lord at some point. So would he have to end his story as a Sith Lord?
Revan would be like the Iron Man of the Old Republic cinematic universe.
Like we need this again. I say the Old Republic is the only time to do it because we already have the major time point like the time of the Galactic Republic that's already told already through the prequel trilogy and the Clone
Empire. Wars. The Skywalkers is the biggest. It's been presented to us as the biggest part of any of this.
But we could easily have the Old Republic become the bigger part. Because again, the Old Republic lasted for a long time. Like the Jedi-Sith Wars was a long battle.
Or I could be devil's advocate and say, let's do it like thousands of years past the sequels.
Right. I mean, the other thing is like...
Just pick a time period and stick, actually just everything.
Right.
And everything there.
Like for instance, if you... Let's say they do this... And we're having 3 years straight of Old Republic movies, but then someone at Disney's like, maybe like for like a movie or two, can we move away? Like, can we go like after the sequels or before the sequels or before the prequels? Sure, go ahead and do that, but you have to make sure everything ties in. Like a lot of the only issue that I could see is, well, why is none of this stuff ever brought up during the sequels? Originals or prequels, and we see Disney's more than capable of figuring out reasons why. Like, how would someone have a map to Luke? How would someone just have a map? Like, why would someone who went to an island to be left alone? How would someone have a map to that? Are you on TikTok?
Sorry.
I'm not even paying attention, as you can see. But then the comics and books explained, Laura Santeca and Luke were close friends and basically traveled the entire galaxy together. So that's why Laura Santeca would have fragments of a map that Luke created because he was with him.
Right.
So that's my whole thing is like, we need a time period. I say the Old Republic. You say you were saying past the Old Republic.
No, I'm just saying, just pick a time.
And that's what we need. Like, get away from the trilogy. Like, get away from major trilogy films. Like,
I think trilogies are a detriment because it doesn't. It kind of, even though you're making one film could be a lot of stuff. 3 films, you kind of clustered. I don't know why. It's just you feel like you're clustered into.
Even then, it's like, for instance, with the MCU, you have Iron Man 1, 2, and 3, but you don't have to rely on.
It's at the end of his story, though.
Yeah, it goes past it. And that, for instance, you could have a Revan trilogy and a Malak trilogy. Whoever, like,
give us Revan's story doesn't have to end in his trilogy. Right. He can still be in other films, right? Yeah.
So it's like that. Like, if you want trilogies within this big overarching story, sure, absolutely have it. But don't be like, oh, well, what happens to him after this? Well, this is not the only thing you should be watching. You should go watch the Malak movie so you can get more of Revan's story.
Plus, I think it would make a lot more sense because when I talk to the average fan, they get very confused. They were very confused during the releases of the Disney movies. My dad's like, was watching Rogue One with me. He's like, where are the characters I saw last year? And I had to explain. I'm like, this takes place before the Star Wars you originally saw. And then we went and saw The Last Jedi. And then 6 months later, we went and saw Solo. And he's like,
right,
who is this? What's happening? It's just like the average fan must have been confused.
Yeah.
Plus, because Lucasfilm, he didn't market that movie good. But and Mando's the exception to that because Mando just feels like it's in its own place, right? Yeah. Mando literally could fit in any. We know as Star Wars fans what time period it is, but Mando, it doesn't. You don't need to know.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Get that.
With things like the Old Republic, there are so many origin stories for major plot points in Star Wars that aren't there. Show me although it's something I'm not a fan of seeing, on screen, show me the creation of the Darksaber. Show me Tar Vizsla. Show me him creating it. We know he's the first ever Mandalorian accepted Jedi. Well, we also have to remember during the time of the Old Republic, there was the Mandalorian Jedi Wars. So,
I will say, an interesting story or a movie, the origins of the Mandalore.
Right. Show us Mandalore's creation.
Because one thing I love about the Mandalorian is that it's dived deep into, well, not dived fully deep, but it has alluded to
the third of the Mandalorians.
Yeah, and the third faction of Star Wars, the third big faction. We have Jedi, Sith, and Mandalorians are the third big faction.
Mm-hmm.
And the Clone Wars obviously introduced us to that. Rebels continued it, and the Mandalorian is going to continue that lore. And I think Lucasfilm should heavily focus on Mandalorians because as Din's become slowly loved. And Boba Fett's not a Mandalorian, but where's Mandalore armor? But I think that's something they should also explore. There's a lot of things they can do, and I hope they do them. I hope they listen to us fans.
Mm-hmm.
But we got to get through these first 10 projects. The Bad Batch is done. We'll say it's done good. Can we say that?
Shaky.
I would say good.
65.
It's done its purpose.
65%. So it's passing. It's a passing grade, but it's not a high passing grade.
They give it like a 75, 80.
But then again, I can't say the show's bad. We're not even halfway through yet. So
it's done its job. It's a lot better than Clone Wars and Rebels were when it was gone. It's a lot better than Rebels. Sorry. Yes. I had to watch Ezra and Zeb play with fruit. Whatever they do in this is better than that.
Sure. You know what? You tell yourself that. You tell yourself that.
And I will admit, the Clone Wars is not great. not great. The first
Listen, you try to tell yourself that you had to watch through that. Trust me.
Episode 7 or 6 of the Clone Wars is literally an episode with Jar Jar breaking a ship.
Yeah.
That's bad. That's not good Star Wars.
Yeah.
Bad Batch last night was good Star Wars. That was solid.
Yeah, I guess.
Solid. Episode 1.
It was
good
solid.
Star Wars. Episode 3 was solid Star Wars.
Yeah.
Some aspects.
Yeah, some. Crosshair. I'm just saying Bad Batch is doing a bad job with villains, man.
Okay, that's fine. But my take on the Bad Batch is doing what it's supposed to do.
It's definitely the worst of the animated shows so far. Definitely the worst.
Okay. That's your take.
Hard to judge based on only one season, but and not even a complete season, not even a halfway of the season.
Compared to the other first seasons, it's better so far.
It's okay so far. I still think Rebels had the stronger season 1.
Okay.
And I'm sorry, maybe there's a little bit of nostalgia blindness, but
yeah, I think I disagree. I think Rebels had the worst of the 3.
Clone Wars, man, had some rough season 1 stuff. Animation was pretty rough.
I'm not talking about the animation.
Well, I'm just saying as a whole, season 1 was pretty rough for Clone Wars.
Yeah, there are some rough episodes, but
story-wise and all that, like, dude, season 1 doesn't even have the first events of the show. Season 2 does. Season 3 has some of the second.
Rebels is rough too. Those first 3 or 4 episodes are rough. I'm gonna be honest. I fell asleep.
Clone Wars made me sleep too. Don't worry, we have our own fair share of sleep.
Listen, man. Yeah. But Bad Batch hasn't made us fall asleep. So maybe we're both wrong.
No. Bad Batch is making me fall asleep. Bad Batch has had a little bit of those had a few of these moments a little too often, a little bit of these where you're watching, just like I'm watching you right now.
Yeah.
Your eyes are closing and you got to open your eyes real quick to get just blinded by light so you can keep your eyes open. Because again, dude, it's just they feel so boring a lot. Like they feel like, oh my gosh, like it's not even. I'm not a guy who's like, I just want action. I just want to see explosions and people death. I'm someone who's like, I enjoy good story, but I'm sorry, I'm not getting any excitement from the show. I'm not. But this episode, like this most recent episode, it's got me hooked. But I will say it's gotten me. They hook you on in a cheap way because it's a cliffhanger. But still. That cliffhanger opens up so many possibilities. And what's going on with Wrecker is interesting to me. I'm sorry, but they have the most interesting part of the show in one episode. And that's episode 3 with Crosshair. Where has Crosshair been? Has he just been sitting on that bed ever since the end of that episode?
All I'm going to say is when you love the finale, and you've been disrespecting Dave Filoni like this?
Sure.
We're going to remember this.
Season 1 of Rebels, I would say, is easily its weakest part. And it had a banger finale for season 1. It had the great duel with the Grand Inquisitor. It had the Ahsoka cameo. It had the Bail Organa cameo. It had so much good stuff in it. But guess what? That doesn't make the whole season a banger. I'm sorry. That doesn't make the show the banger. It had a good episode. It had a good finale. Okay, and it had a good lead up to the finale.
Yeah, when the last 4 episodes are bangers.
Yeah, sure. Again, the last 3 episodes of Rebels were really, really good. But that doesn't mean season 1 was good.
Right, but there's a lot. Bad Batch doesn't have Rebels. The first season, I legit like 2, maybe 3. We're only Bad Batch. We're 6 episodes in. There's 3 that I like.
I like Hunter.
So you don't like you just like aspects of episodes.
There are areas where the episodes are really good, but Omega, dude, I'm having too many issues. Like,
I like her. I like her character.
She just seems like a damsel in distress with everything. It's like, this doll where I could
You wouldn't know who's the sequel fan. Let's just listen to this conversation.
No, that's not even it. Don't even try to say it's because I'm a sequel fan.
No. I'm just saying you wouldn't know who the sequel fan is just based on like.
Yeah, it's you.
I don't like the sequels.
Yeah, you do.
I like one of them.
Earlier. You confessed earlier.
I didn't. I said I like The Force Awakens.
Nope, you said.
I literally said.
Guys, he said it word for word. Don't at me.
Well, all right. I guess we could wrap it up here. We're gonna kind of go in a circle. Nah, I'm serious.
Nah, we would never do that.
Okay, so guys, thank you for watching this episode. As you guys heard in the middle of this awesome episode, we go on a lot of tangents, but that's what makes the show great. We are started a Marvel podcast. It's still gonna be called Wars in the Stars, but we're just gonna do Marvel stuff. We're gonna talk about Loki, the first episode of Loki. We may have a guest, maybe not. We'll see. Yeah, we're gonna talk about the goddess, or I was gonna say
goddess of death,
the god of mischief. There is technically a lady Loki. We might see her, not in the first episode though, but there is technically a goddess of mischief. We will see a goddess of mischief. But yeah, we will see Loki. We will talk about Loki on Wednesday night, 8 p.m. EST, and then on Friday, June 11th. Me and Alex will be back to talk about episode 7 of The Bad Batch. And we will keep doing that. Loki is about 6 weeks long, correct? 6 episodes.
Yeah.
And we will continue to talk about The Bad Batch all the way through the end of summer. And yeah, we're really excited. There's going to be a lot of content in the summer. Expect a lot of content coming up from both of us since we have school off. Alex,
I have work, but
I do too, and baseball. Alex, tell us where they can find you and what you're doing.
You can find me on Candy in My Van, not spelled so correctly on here, but on TikTok. I bumped into my shelf. You can find me on TikTok. Yeah, that's really it. Find me on TikTok, Candy in My Van. I post when I want, not very often.
So
I post sometimes.
He posts good content, guys. He posts better content than I do. So you could find me at. It's true. You post better content than I do. I don't post great content.
I don't post at all. So
when he does post, it's better because he actually puts thought into it. You guys can follow me on, obviously, here on Twitch at HammyDeman, on YouTube at DrewH, on TikTok at HammyDeman. And yeah, you can watch me talk about The Bad Batch on all of those platforms. If you're seeing this on YouTube, you're seeing it on Saturday. So again, if you want to watch these podcasts live, watch them on Twitch on Fridays at 8 p.m. EST. And these... If you're on the YouTube channel, obviously, these are uploaded on Saturdays at any time. So you can watch them on Saturdays or anytime you want since they're up forever. But like I said, if you want to watch them on Twitch, 8 p.m. Eastern at HammyDeman. So, Alex, we are signing off for now. We will see you all in 5 days for the first episode of Loki. Have a nice night, everybody.